This just in, Roger Goodell, commissioner of the National Football League, has banned all hitting in the NFL. Yeah, banned all hitting in the NFL. Tackles are still allowed, but the player must have his arms extended and pull the other player to the ground. Now, this removes the torpedo hit, when the player puts his arms right by his side and, just throws himself into the other player. You also cannot lunge at a player with the purpose of knocking them over. So you've got to grab them and pull them to the ground. Along with this, a ban is any intentional contact above the shoulder pads. Above, up here or below the hips, it's going to be red or yellow lines to indicate the forbidden zones. You have kind of like a strike zone in there, like in baseball. A failure to comply with these new regulations will result in a penalty or ejection. If you have 3 of these penalties, you're automatically ejected. So it's a lot like the NBA. So this is pretty big news, pretty serious. Sound like a joke? It is. For right now, it is a joke. But keep in mind, this will happen. This is where we're heading right now. And it makes me sick, but it's reality. In the next 15 years, I'm thinking, maybe in 10, 15 years, we're going to have something like this in place. And I wouldn't doubt within 3 years, we have a much lighter version sort of to get us comfortable and before they move forward with it. NFL is about to have a series of class action lawsuits, and they're going to total the hundreds of millions, if not billions, of dollars over the next many, many years. And Goodell and owners know all too well that society's view of physical bodily harm, especially when it comes to these young kids, it's just not going to be accepted. And this combined with the fact that the NFL for years promoted the brutal nature of the sport, and the sport itself is pretty damn brutal. This is going to make for a very ugly, uncomfortable process, and it's going to be expensive for the NFL. They want to avoid that. These activists, they latch onto something, that's it. Activists, lawyers, they're going to present the NFL like a bunch of selfish, heartless, rich guys that just peddle brutality, and they rake in the cash because of it, and they just get their own sick jollies off of it. And, who knows the real situation, but that's how it's going to be portrayed. And there's going to be just a countless number of kids in like Pee-wee leagues that have brain damage and are crippled in some way, and images of kids that have died, and they're going to be in their little football suit, but they would have died either on the football field or from football-related injuries, and then they're going to say that these kids were emulating the NFL and that these little leagues they're in, the Pee-wee leagues, are modeled after the NFL. Followed by that, you're going to have decades of NFL players with brain damage and all different kinds of crippled bodies and battered bodies. And then, of course, the images of dead players, especially the ones committing suicide, like Seau and a few others, in their NFL gear. And there will be widows that are just crying and wives crying and mothers crying. And it's going to be so traumatic. It's going to make the NFL look like a bunch of monsters. And they can't fight it because it's only going to make them, like every company knows, it's going to make the company look worse and like they really are the monsters people think that they might be. Instead, they're going to point in all the ways that they are using new information about head injuries and sort of targeting ways of, through rules and equipment, of solving these problems and really making a big effort to come down hard on those that make the sport more brutal than it needs to be, a la Bounty Gate and those really harsh penalties there. So, my view, it makes me sick. Football is a full contact sport. You get into it, you know it, you get in anyway, you make your money, you have your fun. If you get hurt, it's horrible. If you die or something like that, it's just awful. But that just shows how bad and awful your decision was. It's on you. I'm sorry. But that's the way I feel. I, as you are, we're all going to have to accept that this is going to be a progressively softer league. It's just, I hate it, but it's just the way that it is. We're going to have to deal with it, and here's my idea. They can call it the No-Hit League, borrow the acronym from hockey, NHL. What do you think? Work? I don't know. It's kind of dumb, but I have no idea what's going to happen, and I think anything can. If you can, though, hit me up, Mike at GameDayBattle.com, Mike at GameDayBattle.com. Disagree, agree, have some more information on this, I'd love to hear it. I'm out. Okay, the Tribe is still at the top of the division. Number 1. Give him some love.
Still early.
It is early, but
don't want to fall victim to.
This is not even love. This is just self-molestation.
That's fanhood right there.
That's something. So Detroit's not playing the way that we thought they were going to play, and I'll take that. No, they're not, and I'll take what they're giving us, but we're at least putting some good games together. We're putting some wins together, and I can't look at any part of this team and think, wow, that's great, that's solid. I look at games and I think, well, we won that game.
Yeah.
Thank God we won it. Let's look at a few stats. We are 11th in runs, which is not really bad. I'll take that any year. Batting average, we're 20th, pretty far down there. On base percentage, though, and this is the big thing that I think keeps us in games and maybe puts us ahead, is on base, 7th on base percentage. Slugging percentage, 23rd. Haffner isn't really the guy we want him to be. Chew, where the fuck is Chew? There's all these questions that you could throw out there. But the reality is, we're not exactly the best team or the team that we thought we would be. We have given up more runs than anybody else in our division outside of Minnesota. And we've scored, I think, more runs than anybody else in our division. That doesn't sound like a team you've been watching, does it?
That's all you need. In order to win games, you got to score the most runs.
That's right.
So, that, at least the stats show, offensively we're okay, defensively we're not. Isn't that exactly the opposite of what we've been saying all season?
Wait, you're saying our defense is not good, but our offense is?
We've given up more runs than anybody in our division outside of Minnesota. We've scored more runs than anybody in our division. Therefore, all this talk about, we're starting pitching solid, but our runs, we can't get anybody to score. It's all lies.
It's all lies.
It looks that way.
Go to the tapes.
So it looks like it, and it's not true. Can you just give me any sort of insight as to why this is happening?
No, the team that we thought was going to be the number one in our division is not the number one in the division.
No, they're not.
They're not. We are.
That's
but
right.
I mean, you see Detroit using, they're going through their rough patch right now of injuries, and that gigantic contract they gave, Fielder is not panning out. I mean,
I feel like you guys are talking like we're losing. Like it's kind of like it's
I told you early
on.
Debbie Downer brought me down.
Early on, I told you I have some angst, I have some anger, and yes,
there are plenty of bad, but right now we're managing to put W's together. We had a little 3-game skid there last week, but let's remain optimistic. We only have one guy batting over 300. Probably not the greatest thing. But
this is not the National League. Small ball is not going to cut it in this.
True.
In the American League. And
it's happening right now. It's cutting right now.
Damn, you're right.
Yep.
For sure?
Yep.
All right.
Positive?
All right, so we have a small amount of time left, and we like to use that to... Thank you. He's smashing my face now. Thank you. To raise our beer to somebody we love or hate, bitch about some sort of political issue. It doesn't matter. It's our chance to. Dale likes to do that. Political season's coming up, so that'll be me coming up soon. But this will be our chance to sort of vent for a little bit. And I'd like to start today off with Dale Shantz-Tursey.
What's up, guys? Great show today.
It really was.
This is my favorite part.
Is this?
Yeah.
Chance to vent.
Hope you enjoy it too.
Nobody interrupts you?
You will only if you made it to GDB video part 2. Yeah. I'm going to raise my beer to 2 things. One is the obvious, one the not so. Number 1 is the Horseshow Casino. Gambling is alive in Cleveland, Ohio, and I'm telling you, it is a breath of fresh air to be downtown. Wait till you see what it's like down there, and I'm just glad that something like that's going to be a part of my life now on a daily basis. You'll find DST at the blackjack tables before and after work. Horseshow, baby. I apologize to my children who probably won't see me.
And after the before and after at this Horseshow, you'll see him at the handout line or
So let's remember this as week 1 of the casino, and 10 shows later, we'll see me beat, battered, and using an RCA camera because I had to sell the Canon to pay for my blackjack.
You'll see her.
Yeah. So Yeah,
Well,
the casino.
Casino and big times, and the other one.
We've been waiting so long. The other one is weird and out of nowhere. I caught the movie Moneyball last week. I haven't seen it yet, and there was a really the Cleveland Indians organization and Mark Shapiro had a real scene in the movie, and it was really interesting. And actually, one of the main characters of the movie, the guy that Jonah Hill plays, his name is Peter Brand, and he was a guy that Mark Shapiro had in our organization during the 90s that came up with a system for finding value in overage players or players that have been suggested past their prime by other scouts and teams, and basically help us put together the value team and players that we saw through the 90s, which was the golden age for the Indians. Yep. And then he actually took that to Oakland, and then that's where the movie came from, of how they established the same type of system in Oakland when they went on that 20-game win streak. So Peter Brand, pretty interesting to see that. And if you haven't checked out Moneyball, Cleveland Indians got a big part in that movie, almost a third of it. So definitely check that out. It's pretty interesting.
Would you say there's some love for Cleveland, or is it sort of a dark sort of bashing of?
It is. It's kind of dark, but it's not anything against them. It's just it shows you the side of the business of how these guys work and how they call and finagle for players and try to trade guys and things like that, and tells you what kind of owner Shapiro is, and how he had 5 guys in his office playing telephone and passing information. It was really interesting.
Mr. Finnegan?
Yeah.
Do you have a raising of the beer ready?
No, I don't.
Then we will pour our beers out to you.
Actually, I do.
All right.
Do it.
And now I'm going to raise my beer along with my fellow comrades here. Should we be raising their beer also to the 2011-2012 Rookie of the Year, Mr. Kyrie Irving, a boy from Duke University. I saw the best statistic today, the Plain Dealer. It was comparable to LeBron James' statistics when he was a rookie to Kyrie Irving's, and guess what? Kyrie Irving was on top of that. He did much better than LeBron did in his season, in his first year, rookie year.
Did it say what he does after 7 years?
No.
All right. We'll keep our fingers crossed.
You can kind of,
guess at that,
guesstimate, but
okay. Well,
here's the
Kyrie, and some more love for Cleveland. At least the Cleveland area.
Also, Dan Gilbert. Oh, you're gonna too?
Oh, you were.
Oh. Yeah.
Steal the thunder.
Brett's trying to steal the thunder. And this is for Dan Gilbert, for the Horseshoe, for not only the fact that there's a casino opened up, because that was going to happen no matter what. It's because I've heard glowing reviews from these two guys about what it is. It's full on. It's the real deal. It's the big enchilada. And check out this video. This was the actual grand opening. Yeah. This is the building. Right now, what you're seeing is the actual building. And, of course, there's a projector going at it of some sort. But amazing theatrics here. Incredible vision and an outstanding display of technology. It's quite amazing. It's all that building's not actually falling or anything like that. That's all graphics.
Yeah, it's an awesome video.
It is really cool, and Brad actually turned us on to this. So check it out on YouTube. You can check out the whole thing.
Turned him on.
And Dan Gilbert for mayor.
Dan Gilbert for mayor. He's got my vote right now. So we will all be down there. Some sort of GDB night down at the casino.
Yeah.
At the Horseshoe.
GDB broke night out.
GDB broke night. The night GDB wins so much, we have a whole new studio the next time you see us.
Yes, but not rich enough to where we don't have to do game day now.
Well, we still do it even if we're...
Yeah, we would need something to do.
Yeah. We would just do it a lot more, like every day.
24/7, 365.
My segment would be